when they divorce grape you, when they falsely accuse you, when you're invisible and you just want to have a relationship or maybe go on a date with a nice lady, but you're invisible because you're not over 6 feet or you're not, ridiculously wealthy, etc. Your job isn't something they can brag about. It's terrible. And what's really, really disgusting is the people enabling it. The simps, the white knights, and like this man that we're about to see that made me so mad. I was like, okay, I need to do this show now because this is the issue. And this type of guy who was probably a father and raised children, and of course would raise his boy to think this way and raise his girl to think that this is how it should be. Welcome back to Far From Eden. Before I forget, hit like on this video, please. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I know a lot of you aren't subscribed. It will really help. And share it wherever you think there might be some guys that need to get on board with understanding what's out there. So this man, whoops, I'm making all sorts of things happen on my computer because I'm so angry. But anyway, tell me what you guys think about this guy. And if you ever had anybody in your life, like a father or a teacher or what have you, try to sell you on this whole idea.
Our emotions through vulnerability. Real strength in our emotions through vulnerability.
I swear I think it's intentional. Let me fix this technical issue. Okay. Let's let this man teach us all about what secure men do, because there's nothing like a simp to shame you.
Don't get upset when women say all men. Emotionally regulated men don't get upset when women say all men, because we understand why they would say that. And masculinity is not under attack like a lot of podcast bros would have you believe. But a form of masculinity is being criticized. A form of masculinity that
bros, that's just, it's those Andrew Tates, those bros, it's those pickup artists, it's those degenerate, just want to use women. Shut up. That is not what the manosphere is. That's not what the manosphere is. You have no idea. You are so crippled with your own internalized misandry that you can't even see straight. Bros. Look, it's okay. Let's let him talk.
Is harmful because it seeks to dominate others, oppress others. It prevents men from expressing their emotions, making them angry and prone to violence. Masculinity is an absolutely beautiful thing, but masculinity is about strength, not anger.
Anger is necessary sometimes. You know what? Western society specifically, is in the state it's in because male righteous anger has been suppressed. They want all your feminine feelings, all your feminine energy, unregulated outbursts and what have you. There are things that require anger. And being able to express that for little boys when they're young in healthy ways like rough and tumble, sports, etc., is what teaches them to regulate all of that later on. But when you tell boys, no, that's wrong, crying is right, that's when you create dangerous men. Tell me in the comments if I am wrong. But I think this is what we're seeing. Even Jordan Peterson, back when he was, Jordan Peterson, talked about how dangerous weak men are. And this man, that's what he is. Because the way that he looks at men and masculinity. Men are very tender. They're very nurturing. So he's right. We do put this, box around masculinity and say, well, it's this and it's not that, what have you. And it is very nurturing and it is very loving, because who lays down their life for others more than men? Who risks their life just in their daily jobs? Power line men, roofers. Those are common jobs that everybody sees, that you risk your life to give somebody shelter, to provide for your family, etc. But no, sir. No, sir. Let's let you continue to tell us how men can be good boys. I want to ask him what his relationship is with his mother, but I'm not going to get to do that.
Masculinity is about expressing your emotions through vulnerability. Real strength means being vulnerable. This is what courage really is. Being loving, being patient.
Not that I believe the full history of everything we've been taught, but the men who stormed the beach at Normandy, it was about vulnerability. That's what it was about. Give me a break. You know nothing about the types of things that men have been through and go through daily. You, sir, are minimizing what men do.
Being kind, strengthening the community around you and nourishing them.
They do that. Are you trying to say that men aren't kind? Are you trying to say that? Are you trying to say that we're all out here saying, masculinity is not kind? Is that what you're saying, that we are all promoting out here? Yeah, that's why marriages are falling apart, because masculinity isn't kind.
Setting boundaries, making healthy relationships. This is what actual masculinity really is.
Right. Set a boundary with your woman. Set a boundary with her. Let's see what happens. She'll say, you're not listening to me. You're disrespecting me. Okay, dude. Yeah, set some boundaries. Let's watch how that goes. Then is it then masculine to be vulnerable and understand that your boundaries hurt her and blah, blah, blah? Oh, it gets worse.
No one is criticizing masculinity. What they are criticizing are men who don't understand why women would say all men, why women would think that a world that has never allowed women to be in leadership positions would ever.
A world that, is that a wedding ring? A world that has never allowed women to be in leadership positions. I'm sorry, Cleopatra, Queen Elizabeth, Queen Victoria, Queen Mary. I'm just revealing my Anglo, Queen Isabella, Spain, Catherine the Great, which she wasn't so great. She was quite M-wordorous. She was a violent woman. We've never let women be in you don't think, sir, here's where, again, I'm sorry, sir, but I'm going to point out where you're prejudiced. You're saying we haven't been allowed in leadership positions. What do you think it is to be a mother? You're raising children. You're raising the future. You, sir, clearly don't respect that. You clearly only value a woman when she's out there doing what a man should be doing. So, who's misogynistic? Me or you?
Think that it's all men, because men have always been in charge. Men have always dominated society. And
thank God.
For women to say all men, we understand that it is not an attack against all men. It is a plea that men understand where they are coming from.
When they tell you it's all men and that you're trash, it's a plea. It's not mean. How dare you be hurt by that? How dare you be offended by that? It's just a plea, because poor her. Once again, If you think we're poor little things like that, then sir, who's misogynistic? Because I don't have that problem. I'm not out here saying all men this, all men that. You know who does that? I would say those with insecurities. Just calling it as I see it.
Perspective, why they would rather choose to be alone in the woods with a bear than another man. It is not that masculinity is under attack. It is that a form of masculinity that is harmful is being criticized. And instead, we need to build up men to understand what they offer the world, which is so much through their love, through their kindness, through their patience, and through.
You offer the world so much, men. Just be more like women. Just let the women and this guy tell you how you should be. We're not over here, you know, building up real masculinity. I swear, like, I need to try to reach out to some of these people sometime. I really do, because I have questions that they can't answer.
Their strength. Men who are secure don't get upset when women say all men. Emotionally regulated men don't get upset when women say all men, because
I wanted to hear that again, because that's gaslighting. That's, if you get upset, then you're not a real man. Isn't that what he's accusing us of doing over here? That's weird. And he's got like diplomas and stuff on his wall, so he must be so smart, and he's one of the experts, and we should listen to him. Yeah, well, he can go on. This is what he's enabling. I will show you right now. This is what he's enabling. So he's enabling this baloney, and especially if it looks like this, she's got to be sweet. Look at her. Look at the long hair, and she can smile.
I saw this post the other day. Tell me your most unhinged way that you practice micro-feminism in your life. And reading through the comments, it healed something in me. And so let me share them with you. Asking my male co-workers if they need me to carry their heavy things for them, opening the door for them, following up their poorly executed comments in meetings with a pitying little smile. And what I think Chad was trying to say was, they have absolutely no idea what to do with me. I work in a male-dominated industry where I'm constantly being called Andy, Alex, Aiden, because Annie couldn't actually be right, could it? So now I do it to men all the time. Your name is John. My email now says, hi, Joanne, Eric, Erica, Logan, Lucy. I will also say Ms. last name here instead of Mr. anytime I can. They lose their minds over it. I add, for a man, after casual compliments. You park really well for a man.
Rude. And also, I've heard Australia's the worst. Jake Rattlesnake over on, he's on the Extravaganza. He has his own channel. He's working a lot with Andrew Wilson and Rob Noor over there. By the way, that's not your audio. That's my little dog who's decided she has a new way to have screen time, and it's making that sound. Anyways, yeah, Australia's the worst, he says. And this lady, certainly, lady, you're past your prime. The wall has hit you. And you think this is funny because you are, you could be single and you like all these other women. It's like a bunch of witches getting together and comparing their little spells of bringing the patriarchy down. That's what it's like. And it's the glee. It's not the little things she's saying, because it's like, look, you're common. It's common. It's boring. It's not even interesting anymore. But it's the glee on their faces when they think they're putting you in your place. And that says so much more about them than it does about feminism or being masculine or what people are doing, because it says all about your character. We seem to like revenge. And that's what this micro-feminism stuff is. At the end of the day, it's revenge for this thought that we've been wronged. And so when you think about it, it's why dating is such a problem. It's why marriages and relationships are such a problem, because if she feels that she's been historically wronged and systemically wronged, then everything is on the table. Then it's really impossible to do too much to hurt you, right? That is an entire, like, she can get away with anything. It's a free pass because, it's very like we're on the playground. You started it. It's a you started it situation. So all the micro-feminisms, macro-feminisms, anything you want, revenge tactics, family court, whatever. The reason that women can get behind it and do it is because you started it. It's really where it comes from. Some of you may say, oh, it's just these little things women do. It's not that serious, whatever. I just ignore it, etc. No. Listen to me when I say this is pervasive. It's a mindset, and it carries into dating, relationships, marriages. Case in point. And some of you will be like, wow, I never knew how bad it is. Listen to her.
Here's a list of things I do that are micro-feminisms.
When I was getting married, I put all of the ladies' names first on the invitations. Initially, it started out...
Sorry, her audio is low. There's nothing I can do to boost her audio. I do my best with my audio and everything because, I try to be competent, but some of us cannot. Oh boy, that was a telling freeze frame. So when I was getting married, I initially started out as me just putting my girlfriends first, like my girlfriend and the partner, because like I'm inviting my girlfriend and like I guess their boyfriend. But then someone pointed out that that's not how you were supposed to do it. So then I said, as far as I know, that is how you're supposed to do it, because you invite the guest and then the plus one. So a lot of these stories are made up. Oh, lovely. That's lovely. Might have to put that on the thumbnail, ma'am. So some of this is a made up story so far, but it doesn't matter because the point is what she's about to say. And I will hope her husband sees this. I'm doing it this way. The other thing is I said my vows first. Apparently the dude's supposed to go first, but I said no. Why is the guy supposed to say his vows first? My reasoning is I would get too emotional when my husband says nice things to me. So I needed to go first so that I could just get through them. But apparently that's not the way you're supposed to do it. So she lied. She lied. She wanted to say her vows first because it's like, how come he gets to go first? Remember when I said it's a lot like we're out on the playground? How come he gets to go first? I want to say my vows first. How come he gets to talk first? I'm going to do it. And she lied to him so that she could say her vows first. She lied and said, oh, well, I'll just get too emotional. Manipulative, lies, needing to compete and be dominant. And having the mindset that, oh, it's because we've been oppressed this whole time because men just think that they're most important and that's why they get to say it first. This is a terrible mindset. You do not want to go into a relationship with this type of woman. Does your husband watch your TikTok? Because she needs to. I don't know what some of these comments might say. Men are not forced to have their vows first, as well as women have their second. It's just more common. Okay, the guy says the vows first, so the ladies have the opportunity to back out. That's not it. This is what I think it is. And if you guys know history better than I do, please tell me. I think the man says his vows first because he is first professing, I am going to do these things. If you think of life without before the Industrial Revolution, before all of this, when women did rely on men for, like obviously her certain man for shelter, everything, because we still do. We just are disconnected from it. But when we relied on our husbands for that stuff, sorry, we have a doggy doing that. Then we really relied on his promise because he chose us. And so he's choosing to do all the hard stuff that we required so that we could survive. So it made sense. They're so dumb. It's actually, in a lot of ways, I could see how the men's rights would say, well, why does he have to go first? Because why does he have to be the one that puts himself out there, that lays himself down first? And this lady's over here thinking that it's because, the system's against her and has been against her, and it's something to do with power. And that's what you have to really watch out for, is that he seems to be obsessed with power. But isn't it funny? Isn't that kind of what the Garden of Eden and the whole tree was about? It's about power. It's not good. This lady is a giant red flag. And they don't have, look, it's easy to tell when they have blue hair and a septum ring. It's real easy to tell. This, not so easy to tell. Believe them when they tell you who they are and what they're all about.
Whenever it inevitably turns into that conversation, I always tell them, like, yeah, you know what, if I ever met like my ideal man, right, like if he supports me, is loving, is kind, is gentle, makes good enough money, is educated, things that I have myself that he also has too as well, and we can build together, that's what I'm looking for. And if he was my ideal man, I would consider having kids, right? But when we get married, this is always a stipulation that I just like add in there, is the stipulation of like, if and when we get married, my thing is I want to put it in the prenup that if we ever have kids, those kids are yours. The amount of times men will be like, oh my God, I'd be so scared to get married to you, or I'd be so scared to get you pregnant, or like, oh my gosh, that's like a little aggressive, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, y'all are so dumb. And then I have to sit there and like remind them, right? Is it dumb, or is that actually pretty intelligent?
It's real dumb. And I'll tell you why. The men want to be with their children. The men, they want their children to have good relationships with their mothers, which is definitely not reciprocated. And they want their children, when things break up, they do not want to be robbed of their children. They don't. Go watch Terrence Popp's channel. Redonkulous is the name of his channel and website. Men, you want to know why the self-harm stuff is worse for them? That's why. So what type of guys is she dating? Because if there are men you are dating and they're like, oh my God, please don't give me the kids. That's not, like, the fact that you would think that type of person, that type of character who would father children and then be mortified that he might get the children. Lady, I don't think you should be the one asking, oh, that's dumb. Is that dumb? I don't think you should ask that question. But let's learn more about, the types of ways she thinks. And I want you guys also realize, you're like, well, I don't really, date in those circles, etc. This is pervasive. So even though you might look at this and be like, the ladies I know don't think like this, they think like this more than you realize.
Because it's kind of like a litmus test if you think about it. Like those men that are really terrified about getting somebody like me pregnant because I want it in the prenup that if we ever got divorced, that those kids would go to you. Do you know that like little inkling of fear that you feel right now that I'm bringing that up? That little, oh God, it's a little scary. That little inkling of fear is something that women live with every single day of their life.
No. This is also, it's not about the kids. It's about who's powerful. And I know that because she started off like, well, and if I were to marry him, and if he has the standards that I require, like it's this, and this, and it's a litmus test. You're okay. So you're telling me you're already at the point where you're thinking about getting married, and now you're going to put this litmus test to see if he's mortified at having children? Like, what were we prioritizing before this? Well, I think we know it's incredibly shallow. Also, she's giving me these reminders, and that is that we have another channel, and on Sundays we actually read fairy tales over there, and we've learned a lot about witches. And I've gotten better at identifying them. So anyway, I just had that random memory. But also, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's learn more about her. You been drinking, lady?
Their lives. Every single woman. Every single one. Not a single one doesn't live with that. Getting pregnant and getting married to the wrong man. Does that make sense? Do you see it now? That little ounce of fear that you felt just now, baby, is something that women live with on a day-to-day basis. Open your eyes.
Especially really promiscuous ones that are, super degenerate and like to go after degenerate men, be treated poorly by these small percentage of men, and then blame all the rest of you and say these ridiculous things that don't describe masculinity, men at all. Not at all. But I guess it describes the men she dates. And maybe, as the Godfather, Kevin Samuels would say, maybe that's her level.
Look around. Do you notice that? Do you notice how, it's an actual fear because it actually happens to women? It doesn't happen to men. But it could happen to you, baby. You could be the first one. But I say that it is like a litmus test because it genuinely is. Because the men that are like, you know what? If we ever had kids and you are expressing to me that you don't want any more kids because you've already raised your kids. And if I wanted you to have kids and you were willing to do that for me, as a man, and he understood that concept and is like, you know what? Yeah, I'll put that in the prenup. Is that not a green flag or not?
The green flag is that she knows that she can have her way no matter what. That's what it's about. It's a power. It's a power. The litmus test is who has the power. That's what it's about.
That's the greenest flag you're ever gonna find. And do you think I'm gonna let that man go? No. Baby, you're my man, my man, my man. That means I picked the right one. Think about it.
Did you just hear that kid in the background? That was such good timing. Oh my God. Did you hear that? Probably calling for its mom, his or her mom. She's over here sick and tired. Okay, I don't know for a fact, but could it be that she's over here sick and tired of her own children? And she's wishing she could give them to the father right now. And so that made her have this thought. I know how women think. Good Lord. I don't think, lady, you should be talking about green flags, red flags, because you are a huge one. I don't know if you're worse than the last one. The last one's more covert. She could fool more people than this one. But still.
It's a litmus test. But y'all should try it. It's actually hilarious how they react. And it gives you a good idea of who they are as an individual right off rip.
Maybe you should be knowing who they are as an individual before, you do kind of hanky-panky degenerate stuff. But I mean, who am I? God. Okay. Palate cleanser. I promise. Okay. At first, I because I was searching for the micro-feminism women and stuff like that and treating men badly. And so I saw this and I saw the scrubs, and I know what you guys have told me about nurses. But here's the thing about a nurse. You got to realize she's also around other nurses. So sometimes there's once in a blue moon, a woman will see what the other ones are doing and think, that's not good. So listen to what she has to say. I think you'll find it interesting.
My man doesn't make the decisions in my relationship. I do. I tell him what to do, and I tell him what a queen I am, and he needs to tell me every single day how beautiful I am and do exactly what I say and be at my ever-loving beck and call.
So sounds like she does hear some of that in the break room, just hanging out at the nurse's station. That's what I think is going on. And I don't think she's impressed with it. This seems pretty real, this kind of disgust.
Okay, so you're dating a little sissy boy. Okay, awesome. So you're dating a little pansy boy. Okay, awesome.
Now you might go, oh, well, now she's just insulting men. Actually, no. This is a way to insult the women. It's brilliant because you look at it and you can't just say to the woman, hey, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't this, that, or the other, because she's just going to come back at you. But if you say what she's saying to the woman, she's basically telling the woman, you can't get a real man. And isn't that interesting that that's even worse to say in a way that like that's even more hurtful? Because we are valued by the man that chooses us. It's just biological. It's just how it is. It's anthropological, it's biological, and it happens to also be biblical, but I digress. So let's continue.
So you wear the pants in your relationship. Okay, awesome. So you are dating a little boy, not a man. Okay, awesome. And also just to say on top of all of this, you seem to be quite toxic. You know, if you really need to be the person who's in control in your relationship and you don't take your husband or your boyfriend's or your man's feelings into consideration and everything's all about you always, you're selfish and you're toxic, and you honestly should not be in any relationship. So sorry to tell you. It's one thing when you have a man who's like, oh yeah, that's cool, like let's do it, and you're like super appreciative over the fact that he is willing to do what you want to do. But for those of you women who are like always needing a man to bend to your own will, but you're never willing to bend to his, yeah, you're toxic as fuck. And you are exactly what's wrong with a lot of our society currently. As long as I'm only saying this because I just watched a video, because a girl got ripped to shreds because she posted a video saying, we're staying in the hurricane, we're staying behind, we're not evacuating, because my boyfriend wants us to stay. And then her next video was, yeah, you guys just seem to not understand. Like, I'm in this area, I'm not in this. And my boyfriend, yeah, he does what I say. I make the decisions here. And I'm like, girly pop, no, you made that video because you wanted to have a reaction and because you know that people were going to react that way, which is fine, cool. I'm the queen of clickbait, okay? I love stirring a little bit of controversy on here because that's how you get your videos pushed out. Unfortunately, you have to act like a lunatic on this app, totally understand that. But for then you to like blame your boyfriend and essentially to call him out for being a little pussy boy, yeah, that's sad. Yeah. Sounds like you need a man in your life and not another woman. Sorry.
That is how you correct a woman in your life as a woman. Stuff like that. Those sorts of things is what you say to her to get her to reflect. Because if you just get her to respond, react, you're going to miss out on that. Now, I am not saying for the men to do it because you can't. She's already coming at it with the attack ready. But us, women, we can do this. And this lady, she may have a lot of flaws. She may be a feminist herself in many different ways. But this that she is doing is actually very corrective. It's little steps like this that we have to take to rectify the situation. And that's why she was our palate cleanser. But I am just going to let you know what these last microfeminisms are from the BuzzFeed article that started all this. Well, didn't start the microfeminisms, but started us exploring it and looking into it deeper. I don't shop for my in-laws at Christmas. That's my husband's job. Whenever I'm told that I'd look prettier with a smile, I always ask that person back if they'd ever tell that to a man. My granddaughter made me aware of how I default to he, him pronouns when I don't know the sex of something, like a baby animal or a plush creature. She defaults to she, her. This led me to be more aware of sexism in the English language. Something that really stuck with me not long after that was Betty White pointing out that it makes no sense to say that someone tough has, balls. And so I'm trying to think of like other words to make it more YouTube friendly, whatever. And someone weak is a female, is a cat, because male parts are fragile, but female parts can take a real pounding. I remember that Betty White thing. Could it be? I mean, things that can, maybe that what the man has, maybe that's very precious. And maybe what the woman has is also guarded. It's so stupid. And the fact that, we are so influenced by it. Anyways, and my husband is telling his son he throws or runs like a girl, or any other intent or insult by telling a male he seems female. Females, oh, she's stopping him from saying that, I see. Females are tough as heck. AG double hockey sticks. He should be flattered to be compared to a female. Not if it's about something physical. Why don't you tell your kids the truth? That could be something. The only reason men think women are weak is because they have no clue what we endure monthly or during pregnancy and childbirth. No clue. I went through major gore before an emergency hysterectomy. So gore in movies is nothing I haven't seen before. This is literally how it's written. My husband nopes out when there's too much splatter. I mean, I'm an insurance broker. This is scary. They're out there in the world. Like, I'm an insurance broker. Putting the wife's name first on a document sends the man for a loop. It doesn't matter whose name is first on the application. It has no bearing on price, coverage, or anything. But watching their egos in full meltdown mode brings me great joy. The wives always laugh and thank me. Male egos they're not bothered by that, but they probably paid for the item. And they're probably like, well, is she going to pay for the insurance? Like, this is ridiculous. I never comment on my body negatively. And when I compliment my daughter, I focus on her other wonderful traits like being artistic, smart, funny, and curious. So you're not going to help her be healthy and slim because those things are good. When addressing a couple, I love to put Mrs. and Mr. When my friends talk badly about themselves, I argue with them and say good things for bad things. That's not feminism. That's just being a kind person. The fact that they have to make a note of how to be a kind person, scary. Whenever I have to present PowerPoints, I'm in academia. I'm a PhD. I always make my presentation pink and or traditionally feminine. I call it Elle Woods doing it. Elle Woodsing it. I call it second grading it. And the last one, building other Womixen, W-O-M-X-N, Womixen up around me at every chance. I put Womixen because, yes, Rainbow Womixen are Womixen. Because I don't say the T word. Because we don't talk about Transformers on YouTube. So, well, there you go. Be careful out there. It's pervasive. It's all of us. It's all of us. And it's about power. And it's about taking your power. So it's about bringing you down. It's about winning. You cannot work with someone. You cannot be in a relationship with someone who wants to win over you. Meanwhile, I just want a partner. Oh, you don't. Anyway, I love you guys. I'm supposed to say that last. Feed your souls. Protect your peace. I love you guys. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.